What's going on, Internet? This is the Pow Block, an all Nintendo podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, Edward Varnell, Nintendo Master.
Super Mario 3D World! Dun, 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 dun.
Oh my gosh. And Team Nerds Kyle Waite.
Splatoon!
Oh my gosh. Oh boy.
I had to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What a great episode to launch my new YouTube channel.
Yeah, right? Hey, you invited us here. You should have known what was going to happen.
This is a horrible mistake. I don't know what I was thinking. So give you a quick rundown real quick. If you're watching this on the DNA Network YouTube page, this is going on my new YouTube page, Corey in HD. If you want to head over to that YouTube page and click subscribe, if you want to keep following the Pow Block. Like I said before, this will still continue to be viewable on the DNA Network YouTube page, but from now on, it will be under the Corey in HD banner. So I want to thank you guys all for sticking with us, and we are coming to iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play soon. But until then, we're going to talk about that Nintendo Switch conference that happened last week. You know, we had a little talk this weekend about it, but now that the dust has settled and we kind of got almost all the information out of the way, kind of want to take a look at this thing, that conference. What did you guys think of the conference, first of all?
Horrible. I loved it. I loved the conference.
And so I loved it. I'm all like horrible.
I thought it was funny, zany. It was just wonderful. It was just fun to be in.
I think it would have been much better done as a Nintendo Direct where they got to focus on all the parts they wanted to hit without the awkwardness of the translations or the translators getting switched up over words, without the awkwardness of, because for me, like you saw at the beginning, Splatoon 2. Splatoon 2 is a thing, and I'm super excited about it. And you got that guy up on stage, and he's all trying to get people excited. He's like, Splatoon! He's doing his thing. And you hear the narrator go, Splatoon 2. Yeah. It's hard to be excited about that, Yeah. So, I think it would have been much better done as a Nintendo Direct because those are always sharp, to the point, and fun to watch. So, that's just my thoughts, though. It was nice to see stuff about the system that we didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, here's the thing about that conference. I think the translation made it a lot
harder to watch,
less digestible than if they would have just made a separate direct for the American audience or the Western audience. To me, that conference was very Japanese, very what those that culture is about and what Nintendo is about over there, and that's wacky characters and wacky stage presence and stuff like that. The one thing I do want to say about it though is we did see a lot of new faces at Nintendo. Yeah. They didn't drag Miyamoto out on stage at all. Anuma was here in New York, and so was Miyamoto for the reveal the next day at the Treehouse. We saw the new producer for the Mario series. We saw the Splatoon team. We saw a lot of new people at that press conference.
I think that's kind of a symbolic passing of the torch, like saying, Miyamoto's not going to be here forever. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Iwata. We just
want to show some new creators that some young talent.
Pretty much saying, hey, we understand they're not going to be here forever, so here's the new faces that you can get used to potentially seeing in the future. So I agree that was a good thing.
And there were probably people who worked on Nintendo games in the past. They just now been moved up to show their creativity.
Yeah, and what I liked was, they've already said that, they've come out and said that the Switch was being developed by the younger team, the unit itself, so Miyamoto could focus on development. It's exciting to see these new faces in Nintendo, what the future of Nintendo could possibly be after the old guard, retires or
the old guard.
Yeah, well, that's what they are. They've been there for almost 40 years, making games.
that's the other thing that I really like. Even though I thought the presentation of it was awful, I think, like I said, would have been better done as a direct or even a separate conference specifically for us here on, you know, the Americas and whatnot. But I think it was nice to see them say, this is the lead designer of this. This is the lead designer of that, you know? So the guy talking about the Joy-Cons, he focused on those and he knew everything about them because he designed them. And I think that was something I appreciated, at least. So
yeah, and I know for a lot of us here in America, we haven't seen a lot of Japanese press conferences. Like Sony might be the only other one that we've seen, but for a lot of people, they go into a lot of conferences thinking that it's the E3 conference. So there's supposed to be announcements and some reactions, and sometimes in Japan they just don't do it. So I think for those who are not used to it, you got to go in the mindset that this is something in the East. This is not an E3 conference. When we see an E3 conference, we'll know it's an E3 conference because there'll be paid people in the front 3 rows clapping over some download.
You keep going on about that, Ed. Like, but there was no applause at all in this. And as much as I still think that that's very. But yeah, it's a very Japanese.
I still think it's very Japanese to be quiet. But at the same time,
it's like a no applause kind of killed the hype a little bit too, you know. Like it would have been nice to even just the golf clap, like oh yeah, we like that.
But that's also why I would have liked to have seen an American press conference, because you know you get people out there showing off Mario and Zelda and Splatoon 2 and stuff like that. Like you're gonna get that applause. You're gonna get the rowdy, you know, E3 crowd at an American type press conference, and that was the difference.
Was amazing, and I know for a fact that if that would have been at E3 or at, you know, a place with an audience, not just the businessmen, you would have had Legend of Zelda, like people screaming like you know, so excited about that. And I mean, I was getting chills, and I was doing those exact, you know, things. And can you just imagine a crowd and just the energy that you would have felt from that kind of applause for that trailer? Because it was an amazing trailer. It honestly was, and it was an amazing way to end the show. So, sorry, I'm jumping ahead, but...
No, dude, we go off topic all the time. You know that.
All the time.
So, let's talk about this console for a little bit. $300. It was announced at $300.
Acceptable.
Two color schemes. 1 and 2.5 color schemes.
1.5.
Did that bother anybody else that they didn't just have a red one and a blue one?
So much. My OCD was like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, and I was cool. And that was like I went cool that they did that. The next day I went to GameStop to pre-order my Switch, and I made sure I was there before everybody else because I did not want to get stuck with the red and blue one, because that is going to throw me off. And I was like, I would have totally gotten a blue one if they had 2 blues. But
here's the thing with that, Corey, is the red and blue Joy-Con package where you can get the one, I think it's blue on the left and red on the right or something. You can also buy for, again, the price of these accessories, $80. You can buy a pack of 2 Joy-Cons that is the opposite of that. So then you'd have the left red one and the right blue one as well. So then you'd have 2 red ones, 2 blue ones. Or what I'm going to do is I've got the gray console pre-ordered, and I'm going to go buy the red ones so that I can have a red system, because that's what I would have preferred to be able to get. And then I'll just have 4 controllers.
But why does color even matter? Like, are you going
to doesn't per se, but it's the same reason that I'll sit here and buy controllers like this. Because it's something different. It's something more unique. It's not standard.
Okay, that's beautiful. That controller is like, mwah. I love that controller.
Exactly.
But you're going to be so focused on the game. You're not going to stop the game to be like, oh, my color, the color of my... No, you're going to be so focused on the game.
At the same time, when I am done using this controller, like, I've still got the Halo 5 controllers, and I don't use them anymore, but they are downstairs in my living room, sort of displayed. You know, it's kind of like... not a pride point or anything, but it's like I enjoy having these things that I can display. I mean, you should be able to tell that by all the Funko Pops that I buy. Like, these do absolutely nothing for me, Ed. They are $10 worth of nothing over and over again, but I like them, you know?
Wow, they're beautiful. I love them. But I feel like Crane, when you get to Crane, but I just feel like a lot of people are ignored by the color, and I'm just like, it's the theme. You know, they're switching it out now. I said in the future, hopefully they'll do custom colors. I would love a Splatoon switch one. That would be cool. I know I want a yellow and black or something. I thought, you know what? I'm now just thinking about it. I thought they would do a red and white one to match the name of the Switch. You know, the red on the left, the white on the right.
Maybe. I mean, see, and that's the thing is, like, now that they have they're showing that they're releasing this blue and red one, I can see them doing one just like this, packing Splatoon 2 and when it comes out, and having a lime green and neon pink
Orange.
one, you know,
my gosh,
or like something ridiculous like that. I can see them doing that.
Yeah, but you know they're going to.
I hope that if they do that, they also give you the option to buy the inverse of that, so you get a solid color. Because, you know, for me, I gotta have two of the same on the sides. I think I understand why they did it, because especially with games like 1-2 Switch, they want to show off this is player 1, this is player 2, or whatever. But I'm happy that I was able to go in, even though I went later. But the weather here in Oregon, my drive into Portland was awful. But because of the horrible weather, the GameStop that I went to still had over half of the Switch pre-orders available when most everywhere else around had been selling out. So,
wow,
I was lucky that way, honestly. But I got my gray console pre-ordered, and I didn't pre-order the red Joy-Con set because I actually want to see those in person before I actually pick them up, because from like all the videos that I've seen, they look like they might be a little more on the pink side. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I want to see the red one a little bit in color. Because like I don't know if because even the blue one looks a little bit lighter.
Yeah, it looks like a light blue. They have a matte finish, and I mean the finish on them looks nice.
I'm glad it's matte. I'm really glad it's a matte finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. So
yeah.
So yeah. I'm not bothered by it. I just can't wait for it to come out and get my own controllers. Hopefully they do some custom made controllers. I just want to see Kyle's OCD just go crazy when I keep showing him mixed up colors.
Whatever, man. The thing is, my OCD doesn't trip up as much on other people's things. It's only on my things. So like and this is ridiculous, when we're driving in my car, the volume has to be on a multiple of 2 or 5. If it's in my wife's car, she does whatever. When you show me your Switch and it's got the blue and the red on it, whatever, man, that's yours. But for me and my Switch, it is going to have 2 of the same color, or else.
Man.
I'll still be like, come on, Kyle, let's do some Splatooning. Or Smash or Mario Kart.
Oh, man, I'm excited for that.
Oh my gosh, dude. I cannot wait for Mario Kart. I'm actually excited for ARMS, honestly, which was that first thing they showed off. The more and more I've been watching of that, and the more and more they say, look, we are actually having, you know, a normal control scheme. You know, you don't have to move with the Joy-Cons or whatever. You can use a regular controller. I'm really excited to play that game. That game looks awesome. I kind of wish they could have tied Punch-Out to it or something, but it's also exciting to see, like, you know, this is a new team from Nintendo, and this is like one of their first forays into this console, and I want to see what they can do.
Yeah, it's like they somehow was able to do a Capcom art style for this game. And when I tell people that, I'm like, it's Power Stones. When I just say Power Stones, I'm like, I want a new Power Stone, and this game feel like it's going to deliver to me on that. I'm just going to love the fighting mechanics, because I feel like it looks simple, but Nintendo knows how to take something that looks simple and make it deep. And this game looked like it's really going to be deep. I know people were just like, "Where's the anime to this to this game?" Ours is like kind of one of the top priorities of games for me to buy, because I know Zelda and Bomberman is what I'm going to buy and want to Switch. Like that, those three I'm going to buy. But ours is just like for a new IP coming out from Nintendo, and hopefully more new IPs come out for Nintendo on Switch. This is the first that I'm definitely going to get.
Yeah. So let's actually talk about 1-2 Switch real quick. My only disappointment with this is like all these little mini games on there look cool, and I'm sure we haven't seen all of them yet. But I feel like Nintendo is missing an opportunity by packing this in the box, especially at $300, or like having it pre-installed on the system. I really feel like this could be the Wii Sports of the Switch, showing you what this console can do outside of like Zelda and Mario and all the games that we're looking forward to. And I feel like Nintendo missed the opportunity by not packing this in a box, or having a $330 deluxe bundle with this pre-installed on the system.
Well, they did say that's why it wasn't $349.99, that they didn't have the pack in game. Because if 1-2 Switch was going to be in it, I think that would have been made it to $349. I'm kind of fine without it not being packed in. Because I know that some people are disappointed at the way it looked. But I think once you get in your hand and you start playing around with your wife, with your kids, with your friends, family, I think once you start being competitive and just start having fun, the price and everything about it being a pack in kind of goes away. Because you're just like, my mind frame now is I want to win because I'm having fun and I want to be the best.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And like, that quick draw game, like they showed off a couple games. I'm interested to see. I really want Wii Bowling back. I'm interested to see if they're going to come out with like some sort of sports game for this, or like if bowling or something or tennis are going to be games on this. I think table tennis was confirmed, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think there'll be a Wii Sports too. I mean, now, can't really say Wii Sports. Kind of like Switch Sports.
Yeah,
or something like that. They'll probably do another name. I mean, I'll be fine if they call it like Wii Sports 2 or something like that. Because
because if they call it Wii Sports 2, I know like they really, really, really want to get away from the Wii name, especially for people like us. But Wii Sports is something totally different than like the Wii itself. And if you give you Wii Sports 2 on this thing, and you show people that like, look, these controllers do the same thing that those do, but this also is a hardcore device. I want some bowling, man. I just want some bowling.
Shoot, I want some volleyball. That's what I want. I would Corey, online bowling on a Friday. Like
I know, right?
Skype or whatever. I'm all up for that. Online bowling, dude, I'm down for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, now you want me to you gotta be hyped, dude.
I know. I got us hyped for a game that doesn't exist. Woo!
Exactly.
Oh man. So and then they went through and showed what these controllers can do. They have the IR sensors in them. They can tell distance and how many fingers they're holding up and how many ice cubes are in a glass, all these different things. But then they showed off the Pro Controller again, which I'm kind of disappointed you can't pre-order a Pro Controller. That seems like I've been to GameStop twice since the Switch, was released, like pre-orders went up, and you still can't pre-order a Pro Controller. And it's bothering me because that's the controller I want to use to play Zelda.
It's a Pro Controller.
Yeah.
I for me personally, I could wait for it. Hopefully they.
I can always wait for it.
Yeah, but you kind of want to have all the accessories like at the time of launch.
Yeah,
or the ones that you feel like you're going to need. I think hopefully that they is in stock, a lot of them, because if Street Fighter, of Ultimate Street Fighter or the Ultra Street Fighter 2 Final Challenge, if that's coming out on day of launch day or sometime soon in that month in March, you're going to need a Pro Controller. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And like, I don't know. I wish another thing on the Street Fighter thing. I'm really sad that they didn't announce what games were going to be digital only and what games were going to be retail, because this system is something that I really want as many retail copies as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And Street Fighter is one of those games that I feel like they're going to short print because it's technically a third-party game if it goes retail. And it's going to be one of those games that's really hard to find because the hardcore Street Fighter 2 audience is going to want to play this.
Well, I think Capcom is going to play it safe and release it. I mean, I think it won't be a shortage, but I think they're going to just have like, let's do a first print run. Okay, that's a good sign that a lot of people want the game. Let's do a second print run. I think because of Street Fighter 5 burning them so badly, with the people releasing that game early and the game just it made it so well, but it had its problems. I think Capcom is going to be very wary of the Street Fighter brand being not just being on Switch, but hoping that if they release enough copies that they can make a profit on it, that the sales for that game is going to be legit. Because I think Street Fighter 5 kind of hurt them badly, but
yeah,
Capcom does good on the Nintendo system, so I'm like, hey, if you're gonna do it, go all in. I would expect at least 250 copies for its first run.
Yeah, I would, because like Street Fighter. I mean, like I said, I really want to buy as many retail copies of Switch games as possible, just because Nintendo is the one console that I love having physical copies for, and it's really the only console I still have physical copies for. And so, if I can get a Street Fighter 2 physical copy for Switch, I'd be super happy.
And if these little mini SD cards, I don't know what kind of cards they're on.
They're specialized type.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah, they're specific to the Switch. Sorry about that, by the way, guys, for having them back off there.
It's not okay. You're fired.
Yeah, I figured as much. That's why I've only got about 10 more minutes I can talk games with y'all today.
It's okay.
Okay, go ahead, Kyle. Because I was only thing I was going to say is of these cards, but easier to print. Hopefully, there's companies can make a lot of them to put them in stores.
Well, so you guys are talking about the game cards and how you guys want the game cards. Normally, I buy all my stuff digitally, but until I see what Nintendo's network is, until I see them prove, whatever this new infrastructure is, I think I'm going to be buying my games digitally, or I'm going to be buying my games physically, kind of similar to how I did with the Vita and with the Nintendo 3DS, based on, this does, in my mind, feel like a handheld console that then I can plug into my TV. So I'm okay with having a whole bunch of game cards and switching those out, because that's a lot easier than getting up and putting a new disc in on a game console, in my mind, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, Nintendo, like, regardless of what gaming is, when people don't buy it, then it certainly disappears and you can't get new copies in. That's when everybody starts asking for the game.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, that's the thing about the launch of the Switch, is pre-orders have pretty much already sold out everywhere, which this reminds me of the Wii. This is going to be the Wii all over again. This is the NES Mini, how I still can't find one of those. And I'm sure that the games and the accessories at launch are going to be kind of the same deal of, first come, first serve. And there's going to be people buying them that don't even have a Switch yet, just based on how hard they're going to be to find. So I'm hoping it doesn't come to that, but I see it happening.
And Nintendo even spoke about the NES Mini, said that it was their bad. They didn't expect how many people actually wanted. They actually thought that a low quantity of 30 to 40-year-old man would buy it. But they were shocked to see on how quick it sold and how much higher demand was. And Nintendo took precaution because they thought a certain way. So they said on their bad, they made a bad business decision. So they are going to try to get more out on
Oh,
it.
I hope
they
so, because I still want one of those.
And Fiesta Man was just like, what happened with the NES thing, we do not want to happen with the Switch. So like they said, they're going to try to do 2 million just for the first month, and they're going
Right.
to try to continue to roll with that.
Well, and so part of the thing about
Admittedly.
that 2 million too is that with only 5 launch titles, some people don't need the Switch right away because there's not anything that they necessarily need to buy a new system for. For people that already have a Wii U, they can still get Breath of the Wild on Wii U. And
Yes.
I've heard a lot of people say, you know, there's nothing there for me that I need to have day one. So they're going to wait until more games are out for the system. And that's fine. That's okay. I just, I personally know that I want it day one because I don't have a Wii U anymore. And I want to play Breath of the Wild on day one. That is the only game I pre-ordered. I'm considering Bomberman Type R or whatever it's called. Bomberman something R.
The
problem I have with Bomberman is it looks like it plays exactly the same as older Bomberman games, and it's still $60. I don't feel like that's a $60 game. But at the same time, I still do want games to play on day one on my new console, you know? So,
yeah,
I don't know.
And there might be some I mean, it was just announced, so hopefully there are some more things to Bomberman, like multiplayer wise. It may be like 50 to 100 stages. You know, like it might be some more stuff to it. Yeah, we'll just have to see how that goes. Because I know a lot of people are probably going to wait for reviews of it when all the games are out and they're completed, and you know, you look around to Destructor or IGN, you'll be able to have a better understanding of purchase or not.
Well, I mean, that's the thing too, is something that I read from people that were at the NYC event. They played the Bomberman game multiplayer in tabletop mode or whatever, where they got the kickstand up. And they said that there was a point where they got hit by a bomb because they couldn't actually tell where their character was based on how small the pixels were. And the only way that they could really see where their character was, you know, surefire way, was leaning in, but then you're blocking off the view for the other person you're playing with. And it's like, it gave me kind of a mixed impression of the game based on, like, I am going to be mainly, in my mind, playing this thing portably, except for when I want to record video for, you know, a let's play or for a review or whatever else, you know, or if I just want to get comfortable, put it in the dock and pick up a Pro controller and sit there and enjoy Legend of Zelda. So
do you think that that's probably going to be one of the games that you'll need your own Switch really to play it, to enjoy it and not split it up?
I don't know about that.
I still think it's going to be 4-player. You're still talking about Mario Kart, right?
No, I'm talking about Bomberman.
No,
Mario Kart.
Bomberman.
I'm excited for that too.
Yes.
I don't think they'll be able to do 4-player mode on tabletop mode. I think that's too small for tabletop mode.
I think you're going to be able to. I just think it's going to be very inconvenient and hard to see. I think like you're going to need multiple switches, and you're going to need to play it on the TV.
Right, and that's what I was asking. If you had your own Switch doing tabletop mode, like all 4 players got their own Switch to play, do you think
that's like the other thing too, is from the initial reveal trailer, you had two people playing Mario Kart at the same time on one Switch, but then when you got into the spot where they were playing NBA 2K17 or 18 or whatever it is, they had 2 Switches out and 2 people on each. Now, I wonder if the Switch is going to be able to tell, oh, they're not in the dock right now, we're going to limit the system from allowing 4-player on tabletop mode or not. Because if the game just plays whatever, doesn't care what mode it's in, then yeah, it'll be allowed. You can play 4-player mode on tabletop mode. But like you said, Corey, it's probably going to be really hard to see and kind of uncomfortable. So it's going to be interesting. Again, these are all just speculations and things that we're going to have to find as it comes closer to it either being out or when these other games come out. I just think that some of these games I'm excited about, but at the same time, the Bomberman game, I don't want to pay $60 for, but at the same time, I kind of feel like I'm spending a lot of money just to buy one game at launch, you know? So
yeah.
I
But
don't know.
that kind of happens. That kind of happens at a lot of console launches. That
Well, right, but with a lot of console launches, like, I mean, I think I talked about this before, that the Wii U, I think it launched with what, 34 games or something like that. The Xbox One launched with 22 games. The PS4 launched with 24 games. And out of all those games, there's about 3 or 4 games that I'm like, I need this, and this on day one. And sure, that's me spending more money, but at the same time, I have a selection of games to play versus I am literally just buying a Switch for Legend of Zelda, which, unfortunately, if you want to look at it factually, is an upgraded Wii U game, just like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is the next game I'm excited about, really. And I really hope that Splatoon 2 is more than just a upgrade from Splatoon 1. I want to see new campaign levels. I want to see something like potentially co-op campaign levels, like let us go in and do like a raid or something. Not necessarily a raid, but like give us functions where you got to keep spraying down this platform to keep this thing operating for these other 3 players. That, you know, give us team sort of focused raid type stuff that you can do in Splatoon on the campaign style instead of just the verses that we've come to know from Splatoon. That's what I would like to see.
And hopefully they will do that. I think they were just wanting to get announced to be like, hey, this is just Splatoon 2. Hope you guys look for it. Like kind of like a tease.
Right. No, I'm looking forward to it.
that
I'm just, a lot of people are already doubting it based on how they say it's just another Wii U port that's been upgraded. So if you look at it that way, and if it ends up being that way, where it's the same maps, it's the same everything with a few new ones thrown in and a few new hairstyles and a few new weapons, then yeah, it's just another Wii U game getting ported over to the Switch. And the first real Switch game that we're going to see would be Mario Odyssey in Holiday. So, you know, it's just, I want to see more games that entice not just, you know, me, because I know I'm getting one day one, but entice other people to be like, oh, I really like what Nintendo's doing, and I want to see this succeed. I really want to see this succeed, because if it does not succeed, I feel like this is Nintendo's last huzzah trying to be in the console market, and they might have to go the way of Sega and go third party, and I don't want to see that. I really don't want to see that, especially after they showed off what the Switch was, because I don't think Sony would have ever come up with the Switch. I don't think Microsoft would have come up with the Switch. Only Nintendo would come up with something as unique and really cool as the Switch, honestly. So
here's the thing, though, with Switch, like we all want to see it succeed. The positive thing that I hear now is people that I work with who are really only interested in playing, you know, Call of Duty or Battlefield or Skyrim or something. People that I work with are like, hey, that new Nintendo console looks pretty cool. I can play Skyrim and NBA 2K on the go. I can play it wherever I want. I can take it to school with me and play it, or to work on break. I can play a match of NBA 2K18. And like, that's the positive vibe that I'm hearing that I never heard about the Wii U.
Right. But
like,
at the same time, those people are also saying, oh, $300, I'll wait till it drops in price.
Oh, no. Well, they said that people that I've been listening to talk about this device are saying that $300 seems pretty cheap for a handheld that you can plug into your TV, which is how they're viewing it. And like, if they say they don't have a console that they can take NBA on the go, they don't have a console they can take Skyrim on the go. You know, possibly Call of Duty at some point, maybe the next one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're going to make like its own. It probably depends on how well this thing's going to sell. But you know, it was exciting to hear other people talk about it without me initiating the conversation.
Right. I can.
And that's something Nintendo's been missing.
Yeah, definitely. As far as Call of Duty goes, based on how we're already saying that Skyrim is not Skyrim HD Special Edition or whatever, it's just Skyrim, I would think that maybe if the Switch does get Call of Duty, it's only going to get the multiplayer. It's not going to get the campaign to go along with it, which, I mean, that's how the 360 and the PS3 versions of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare happened, and I think the same was with Black Ops 3, correct?
Yeah.
Just Black Ops 3.
Oh, so Infinite
Yeah, 'cause
Warfare
Black
didn't even
Ops
come
3
to.
I don't think Infinite Warfare even came.
Yeah, so see,
Didn't even-
that's just it. If Infinite Warfare didn't come to the previous consoles, that's showing that the next Call of Duty game that comes out, they're going to have to, if they want to bring it to the Switch, make certain cuts, and that could mean graphics, obviously, and that could also
Well-
mean the campaign. So
they got to make Call of Duty interesting in the first place. So regardless of what console it comes out,
Infinite Warfare's campaign is very interesting. It's good. I know that you're not big on the multiplayer aspect of it, Ed, but the campaign alone is really good, and I've been having a lot of fun with my wife playing the multiplayer. So,
well, I want Titanfall. I want Titanfall 2 to come on my Switch, so I can stick
Titanfall
it
2
on the go.
go would be excellent. Getting to play that campaign anywhere, I would love that.
I could almost see that happening.
Well,
at
that's
some
just
point.
the thing. Is again, I say play where you want to play. Graphics are important to a point, but at the same time, if they can get a game running at a lower resolution with a stable frame rate that doesn't run like at 2 frames per second, if I could play some of these games that I've grown to be excited for or grown to love on the other platforms, I would love to be able to take them on the go. Can you imagine the Mass Effect collection on the Switch on the go?
Yes.
That would be amazing. Mass Effect Andromeda is not coming to Switch though, because they didn't want to make any graphical or technical cuts to it. And
Frostbite, what are they on 3.0 now?
I think so, and that's pretty intensive on the system. So
pretty intensive, but it's also one of the engines that's very difficult to scale down once you have the assets in.
Right.
And we already know the Switch isn't as powerful as PS4 or Xbox One, which is fine with me. I don't care. But
Frostbite makes blown up buildings look good, and it does nothing else. So I'm not mad at Mass Effect.
Mass Effect Andromeda when it comes out, and then come back and tell me that, because that engine is powerful for a reason, and that game is going to play excellently based on that engine. So, I mean,
are they using Frostbite for Mass Effect?
Yeah, we can go round and round about how graphics don't matter, gameplay is king, all of that. But when it comes down to it, what engine they're using is going to dictate what they can do, and if they can even bring things to the Switch. And a lot of game developers we saw with the Wii U did not want to weaken their game or make adjustments to it to be a weaker, less graphically impressive looking game to put it onto the Wii U. And what?
And if you're a company that can't change up your graphic style, that's more on you. I don't think it's more on the hardware. I think if you're a company who try different graphic styles or different art styles, try and do that. Yeah.
Well, but they don't want to go out of their way to spend extra money just to make a cel-shaded version of Mass Effect Andromeda for the Switch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sure, they might be able to get the gameplay the exact same, but that's so much more extra development when they can put it on these two systems, Xbox One and PS4, that are already proven to be successful. Switch to get people
IP.
to develop the extra games for it is really going to need to prove itself in a third-party space, where third-party developers are all like, you know what? Yeah, we're going to take the extra time and spend another $100,000 making sure that we can port this down to the Switch, because we see people like the system, we see it selling well, and we see it being successful. It's the same thing that happened with the Vita. The Vita was a great idea and concept, and it's the most powerful handheld we've had up to now, the Switch, but no one wanted to develop for it because they still had to cut corners trying to make Call of Duty on it, which the Call of Duty game on the Vita was horrible. It didn't have the feature complete button set, so that's going to be a good change that the Switch does bring into the equation. But it's still a matter of, it needs to sell well for those third-party developers to stick with it and be like, yeah, we're gonna bring the next Call of Duty to it, or we're gonna bring the next, whatever big title XYZ to it. So it's the chicken and the egg thing, which comes first, which is more important, and sales are going to dictate the games. And if there's no games on it, then it's not gonna sell. It's crazy. It's interesting time to be talking about this.
it's kind of like Western versus Eastern when it comes to not game design but selling games. Because I'm like, even if Mass Effect Andromeda, I know that's going to sell well on PS4 and Xbox One, you know, as a Western style game. But if something like a Tales game could do the same number as the Mass Effect games, and the Tales number is on Switch, you know, maybe that could entice them, because I think a lot of Japanese developers are probably gonna make more games for the Switch.
Well, and like here's the thing too.
Rest of the game.
The Vita, it's practically dead right now, right? But we are still getting Japanese games getting ported over to it. You've got Disgaea on it. You've got all these other very JRPG games. The Persona games come to Vita. You've got, on the 3DS, you've got the Shin Megami Tensei games. I see, now that the Switch is about to be out, I see a lot of those very JRPG games getting put onto the Switch as well. And we've already seen, the start of that with Disgaea 5 Complete being a title announced for the Switch. Like, I see this,
which was
that game looks amazing, by the way.
Oh, absolutely!
Disgaea
I see this
5,
being the new, not handheld that overtakes the Vita, but I see this being the new console / handheld that all these Eastern developers are all like, oh well, the Vita's practically dead, no one's buying them anymore, but there's this new hotness, the Switch, let's put our games on that too, because it's more powerful than what they've been porting their stuff to, so it'll be easy for them. So
here's what
I see it succeeding in that space, and I hope that will drive the sales. So
here's what I see. The Switch, I see the Switch being so Vita gets a ton of indie games, because that's a place where those things can thrive.
Right.
What if your Vita also had strong first-party support? That's what I see Switch being. I honestly don't
Sony
care.
Tried with that. Sony tried with that, but they failed.
I know, but this is Nintendo's home console. They're putting a full-scale Zelda. They're putting a full-scale Mario. They're putting second parties to work with Fire Emblem.
We're supposedly getting Pokemon, the third game on the Switch.
If you can have games like that,
right?
And I understand Sony did that, but
Nintendo
is known for their handhelds, and Nintendo is known for supporting their systems past.
Right.
I think if I can have all these indie games, like if I can play Guacamelee on Switch, if I can play Shovel Knight on Switch, if I can play Azura Gunvolt on Switch, and I can play Zelda and Mario and my favorite virtual console games,
right?
Like that's a great triple threat right there. Where
and here's
third-party games. Like if companies want to make these third-party games like Bomberman, like that's cool. I want to play Bomberman. But I don't have to rely on third parties, because Nintendo now has another system with a good triple threat, as long as they market it right, and as long as they have a great schedule of, okay, between our big, huge first-party releases, here's our schedule for virtual console games to fill in the gaps. That's what the system needs.
That's exactly what I was going to get to, is the virtual console games, not even just the indie titles that are coming out, but you've got this great backlog of all these excellent Nintendo titles from the past. So, like, if they launch with quote-unquote 5 actual physical retail Nintendo Switch games, but they have, say, the GameCube virtual console already at work, that means that I can get Twilight Princess and Wind Waker on my Nintendo Switch, and that would be amazing. That means I can get my favorite Metroid games, which is actually the side-scrolling Game Boy Advance ones, technically. So I could get, Metroid Fusion or Metroid Zero Mission, and I can get Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap. Give me access to all of those amazing, handheld games as well, and show me.
And if Capcom and Konami come with their Game Boy Advance, their DS, if they come with their NES and Super NES for virtual console, like out the gate, maybe between from March to June, you're kind of set, because those are the games that people are going to want. Let me play Sunset Riders, because it didn't come out for Wii or Wii U. Let me play that old whatever game. And that I could relive on again. Like, I would pay money for that. And Capcom, Konami are like the two best to release some great backlog titles for virtual console.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's what I'm saying is Nintendo has the history behind them. They've got the games behind them. They have shown that they are excellent at making games, and their backlog, I think, is what is going to help the Switch the most at launch. Unfortunately, guys, right now I actually need to go. You know I love talking games with you guys, but hopefully we can reconnect real soon and talk more about this. Sorry to all the audience that I have to leave early, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode and the rest of it. Corey, Ed, I will talk to you guys later.
Okay.
All
Bye,
right.
Kyle.
Bye, Kyle.
Bye, guys.
You can find Kyle over on Team Nerd YouTube channel. There is a link down. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, you can click the link down. Podcast Connected will take you to his YouTube page over at Team Nerd. So also, Ed, something I wanted to bring up that Kyle was actually making that point in his last conversation before he left.
Yes.
And something that me and him were talking about before we started recording Connected earlier. Something that I am surprised they did not announce, and I'm surprised if they don't bring over at all, is some Wii U ports that support Amiibo, specifically Twilight Princess HD, because that Amiibo has so much functionality in Breath of the Wild, and like games like Wind Waker and games that have Pro Controller support. You just take the gamepad support out of the game and port it over to the Switch, which I don't think that would be such a bad idea to have more Wii U ports, because those games are awesome, even if you sell them at a cheaper price point at like $39.99.
I could see them doing it next year. I think they just want to get the system out and get some games out. And those games probably are still too early. But if I say do it next year. Like, give us a Wii U Direct and get some of your top games digitally ready to go for that system.
Yeah,
and I think it's not now, but yeah, I think next year they should do it. Like I would love to do that and have that. Even if they charge me $40, I'm down with that, because I'm like, hey, these great games are now into my Nintendo account.
Yeah. Something I was thinking about when we were having that discussion earlier. I think maybe the Switch should have launched with that Mario game. And then maybe a port of Twilight Princess, to get people that Amiibo to prepare for, Breath of the Wild in August. Yeah, I want the Zelda game at launch, but I think maybe in terms of selling the unit, selling it to the people more specifically who are on the fence of buying this thing at launch, sell it with the Mario game, and then put the Zelda game out in like October, November for the holiday, and then give them Twilight Princess for $30 or $40 or $50 with the Amiibo to prep for Breath of the Wild, because that Amiibo has so much functionality in this game.
Yes. Mario sells better during the holiday, around Christmas time.
That's true.
So
that's true too.
Because even when people said, "Oh, I'm not buying," like I said, nobody thought they wasn't going to buy Super Mario Maker 3DS. That game became one of the hardest things to find when it came out. Like it flew out this holiday season, last holiday season. So it would be good to have a Mario game during a holiday attached to a Switch, because now not only are you buying the system, and that's more units for Nintendo, that's a 1-to-1 ratio game, and we haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, we haven't seen that. So, probably the last time we saw that might have been like right when Wii came out and Twilight Princess was selling with the Wii.
Yes.
So
yes, and even with the GameCube version being delayed, like if you was getting the Wii, you was getting Zelda. Like there was no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And just like I could do that to Kirby. Let Kirby come out next year in the holiday, because why? Kids who are into the Kirby series and still asking for that game, that's the one attachment to the Switch.
Yeah. So now that we're kind of in the virtual console / Wii U stuff, this will probably be our last topic for the episode. The virtual console. They didn't really mention virtual console.
Yes.
At all. What are your hopes for this virtual console? No, because there's still one more topic I want to talk about after this. So, what are your hopes for this virtual console?
I hope Sega gets on board and release Sega CD and Dreamcast. I want to see hopefully Neo Geo. I know they're playing some games for the system, but I want to see some old Neo Geo games. Like I want them to reach out to see if they could get PC Engine and TurboGrafx. Like I want them to go back and see how many games they could put on the virtual console. Expand just from Nintendo systems like GameCube and Game Boy and DS and stuff like that. Expand from that and hit all these other companies with, if they're able to get games and emulate them on the system, do that, because I want that on the system. I want to play 3DO games that I didn't play back. I want to play Atari Jaguar that I never played. Like they could be bad ports, but they could be like, they're bad, but they're fun to play around and just to get to laugh at. With this new region lock, with no region lock, I should say, bring over some of those old NES games that never from Japan that never came here. That it's not censored or bad. Let me play the old Metal Gear that came on the Famicom that we didn't get for the NES. Like, let's go that route. And it just make it bigger than what it could be, because we already know that 10,000 Marios are going to be on it. That's fine, but I want to play like Castlevania that never came here. I want to play the actual PC Engine version of Dracula X instead of the Super Nintendo version. I want to play that on my virtual console.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see if they have, and even if they don't put that in virtual console, if they had something like WiiWare, and not like, because it wouldn't be classified as an indie game, it would be more like Switchware, I guess, is where you would put like, upgraded games or ports of old games that weren't necessarily like you said, the Super Nintendo version of Dracula X, but it would be like the definitive version of Dracula X.
Yes.
So
I would be so down for that. And like I said, if that do come, I would pay the extra money, because I paid. I'm like, when on Wii for some of the games that never came here, Sin and Punishment, they charged a little bit more because they never came to America. I paid it so I could have that game.
And it's not, Nintendo has experimented with that before. They brought Sin and Punishment over on the Wii Virtual Console, the Japanese version. It was a little bit more money. It was in Japanese, but it was still cool to see something like that.
No, it was in English. Everything was translated. Yeah, it was localized. It just never got released here.
Interesting. Yeah, see, they could do stuff like that. And like translation costs like are very minimal compared to like a full development cost. Like you could, like the big rumor is Mother 3 might come to Switch eventually. And like to translate that game now with like these companies have full translation teams now, or like you hire someone like what's the big one that Nintendo always uses, A4. Yeah. Like you could have them translate it and ship out a game. It's. I guess what I'm saying is translation is a lot easier than it used to be, and people do it all the time now.
And I would pay $40 for that. I would literally pay Nintendo $40 with a $40 version, digital version of a translated Mother 3. Take my money.
Yeah. For me, for Virtual Console, I just kind of want to see I want to see what consoles are going to be available, because like you could theoretically do Wii also with the Joy-Cons with the sensors in them. I kind of want to see if they'll go the full. We're putting our full library on this thing, except for Wii U for now, and like they'll port the Wii U games over later. I'm interested to see if they'll move all the way up to Wii. I want to see a good schedule of games. I want to see them make, like, before a new Metroid game comes out, like they'll put Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2 up there for GameCube and make an event out of it, I want to see them make events out of the big releases, and I just want a stronger, more solid schedule, because the Wii U had a terrible, like, they would release like 6 games in 1 week, and then the next week we'd get like Solomon's Key or something, like really weird. Yeah. So I want them to have a better strategy for Virtual Console, which it seems like for the most part everything they're doing with the Switch is good. Like, there's a couple questionable things, but that's with every console launch, that's with every product launch. There hasn't really been a disaster, in my opinion. Some people say what they will about that conference, but press conferences aren't always great, but we got some great games out of there. So that's kind of what I want to see with Virtual Console, is a better schedule.
Would you like to do like Nindy Directs, like the every last month? What they're going to be having planned for next month, they'll show off. And if you buy, because they could do like a Summer of Arcade structure where, like, at the beginning of the month, like say the first of the month, they have a 15-minute direct about what indie games are coming this month, and like each week you release each week you make that game, you promote it in the eShop, you give like the people that are going to buy it like a 10% discount that first week or something. Yes. Make it an event. Like give us something to be excited for when you put these Nindies on. Like when Shovel Knight comes, make it an event that, the indie game that, came first to Wii U is now on Switch with exclusive content, and like, maybe people who bought it on Wii U or 3DS get a discount or something, or like, yes,
make that an event. I think, and I think with, Nintendo saves so much money on development because they use different strategies than other companies. Use that money to market these things, and you're going to get, Nintendo could take their 30%, and then that will also make them more money. That'll make the indie developers more money, which will then encourage the indie developers to make more games for this thing. And that's...
It's better exposure and marketing, because now we can know that we could go and get that game. Oh, Shovel Knight is dropping this day, or dropping on this time. You guys announced it that month. Oh yeah, let me set my money aside. Okay, Shovel Knight is out 10%. Bam, let me pay it right there. Like, I have more exposure and more planning in my money, in my budget on what to buy, and that'd be cool. I'm down for that.
Or like even embrace the fact that these indies are like, basically ripping off Nintendo games. Like when a new Metroid comes out, say, hey, Metroid's coming out at the end of the month. Here's the indies that were inspired by Metroid. That first week could be Axiom Verge. Then you could get Guacamelee. Then you could get Shantae. Yes. Like that's the kind of thing. Like, I think Nintendo needs to embrace what these indies have done because of Nintendo. And if Nintendo turns around and embraces these indies, like, there's going to be a better relationship with these indie developers, and we're going to get more games. So. Yeah,
I love that, having the inspirational games then lead up to that big game. So games that's been inspired by the link to the past. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, if you like okay, so we're going to get a new say, I mean, Breath of the Wild is a bad example, but like, if they're going to release, or even a Link Between Worlds, like an HD version of it on Switch. Yes. Like, okay, Oceanhorn, we'll put that out first. And then, what are some of these other like dungeon crawler-y things?
We got Capcom to do Okami HD, the Wii version.
Yeah, like you do stuff like that get people excited. And like I just like, and you'll sell like maybe somebody will buy all of them. Or somebody will say, oh, I like Zelda, I'll try out Oceanhorn, or something like that.
Yeah, dude, you got me so excited right now about this, because and if they be like, pre-order these games for $50 or $40, I would literally do that and just be like, bam, that gets me all for, and then probably get like a 30% discount if for that Link to the Past or Link Between Worlds HD for Switch. Like, bam, I would do that.
Yeah, for sure. It's
God, Corey, you got me so hyped.
I know.
Oh,
I'm hyped just thinking about it because like we already know Oceanhorn is coming. Like what if like launch week, like Zelda's obviously coming that on launch day. Like the whole month after, do you enjoy Zelda? Here are the games that were inspired by Zelda, and Oceanhorn comes out that week after Breath of the Wild, and then
yes,
just you could take some of these games, or like oh, you like Zelda? Surprise, we have a Darksiders HD coming or something. Just like I don't know. There's just so many ideas I have. So
I'm so hyped. Why did you do this? Why you hype me?
I don't know.
That's why I love you so much.
I know, Ed. We always have great conversations. So I'm gonna wrap this episode up. Sana's making dinner and it's almost ready. But Ed, I do have some things to discuss with you after this episode. I'll message you in chat, in our Facebook chat. I do want to try to do Pow Block twice a week on this channel and put it out every Tuesday and Friday, especially because like there's so much information about the Switch, and we barely touched any of the games. So the next time we record, Ed, I want to talk about what games we're excited for Switch and kind of do the rundown of the games. We kind of did a console and accessory type rundown today. And I want to talk about the games on another episode because I think we could fill a whole episode just talking about the games that were shown off and upcoming games. So
I'm about to go and rewatch the whole presentation after I go get some food. Cause
I know I want to rewatch the presentation. Also, I want to kind of put images and stuff in this episode. So, like I said, Pow Block is moving over to Corey and HD. It is coming to podcast services. This will be kind of the flagship gaming podcast for my new YouTube channel. But like I said, it's also going to be on the DNA Network. It's just going to be, you're going to be updated by a subscription to Corey and HD. So this is going to be twice a week. Me and Ed, Kyle will probably join us on Mondays when we record, and then maybe if he's not available, we'll get some special guests on here. We'll get an interview or two in. Ed, I know you just interviewed the AM2R guys. I am really interested to hear that episode. So why don't you go ahead and plug your stuff before we get out of here?
Yes, you guys can follow me on Twitter at @RetroCode. You can also hear my podcast, Optional Opinion, on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and other podcast apps. Also at the AnomalousRadioNetwork.podbean.com. As Corey mentioned, AM2R. Me and my friend Larry, we do a podcast called World 101 podcast with our great friend Adrian Nieto when he's able to come on. We did a discussion, an interview with them, and it was so mind-blowing. We talk about AM2R, some of the ups and downs, how they started the games, and we even talk about their favorite cereal. So you can listen to World One podcast at shoutengine.com, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and if you look up World 101 and you see more podcasts on that, that's from Shout Engine, so you can subscribe. If you subscribe to Optional Opinion on my SoundCloud page, you would get both our Optional Opinion and World 101 podcast. I do some writing also, but I will be having a blog up soon on the DNAnetwork.net. So do be on the lookout for that. And I'm kind of late at the moment, but I'm doing a new Optional Opinion feature on IGN.com under Anime ENIME, when I'll be talking about girl games. So do check that out. And I hopefully will have a special host on Optional Opinion that I'm staring at, talking about Destiny. So do be on the lookout for that.
My gosh. Man, Ed, I love talking to you about Nintendo.
And you guys, if you still have your Wii U's, you can friend me on Wii U at optional opinion, all capital letters, all one word. And just find my information on IGN.com under anime, and you can find my 3DS code and everything else there. If not, just follow me on Facebook under Ever Varnell, and I'll give you guys more info. I would like to talk to everybody about video games.
Yeah, games.
Yay.
You can follow me at Corey Hudson in HD on Twitter, Corey in HD on Instagram, and you can subscribe to my YouTube page, Corey in HD, and make sure you subscribe to the DNA Network as well. Don't worry, all those shows are still going to continue. But like I said before, Corey in HD is going to allow me to do some more stuff without the constraints of scheduling people and stuff like that. So let's see what else. We are going to be making a Pow Block Facebook group soon, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Ed, we will discuss recording another episode in the near future. But until next time, it's been my pleasure, and game on.
Shut